With Apple due to release their Series 10 watch later this year, the question everybody is asking is it going to be worth the upgrade? The upgrade from your current watch? Let's find out. So most people in these videos are calling this watch the Series X rather than the Series 10 because Apple did that whole thing. I don't think it's going to be called the Series X, it will be called the Series 10 with a 1 and a 0 because that whole X thing is kind of outdated at this point. So they're definitely not going to do that, it will be the Series 10. Now what's the difference between the Series 10 and the Series 9? Well, of course everything is just speculation at this point because nothing's been announced yet. But there's a few facts and rumors floating around which different sources usually get right. So the major thing that's going to be the difference with this new watch is going to be nothing. Of course, it'll be exactly the same as every other previous watch, but there will be two differences. The first difference, which you can see from some of these mock-up images people have made, is it's very likely the screen is going to go edge to edge. One problem these watches have, I'm wearing the watch right here, they do still have a slight inner bezel and the outer bezel, which is kind of annoying to look at. So it's going to be the best if a watch goes right to the edges. Like this one appears it does, but it actually doesn't. This one still has its small bezels. If you're wondering what that is a $10 watch, which is equivalent to this watch. We'll get onto that later. Looking back at the Series 10, besides the screen size increasing, the major feature everybody keeps asking for, which is only available on this watch, is the orange button on the side there. That's the action button. So people may not necessarily use the double tap feature, which I don't actually use because it's kind of a weird gesture. Let's go like that. I don't even have that set up. I only have the action button set up. It's much easier just to grab it and then just press the side and go straight to whatever app you want to use the most. So that particular button is what everyone keeps asking for onto the Series 10. There's a good chance that button will be installed because it won't take away from people buying the Ultra 2 just for that button. Currently the Ultra 2 has extras including longer battery life, increased strength, brighter screen, which in turn gives you the brighter torch, much better GPS tracking, and the action button on the side. So giving that button to the Series 10 won't detract from this particular watch, and obviously they need to make their money at the end of it, so that's what they'll be doing. But yeah, good chance that there will be a button on the side. There's actually an even better chance, rather than being a physical button, if they wanted to be much more advanced, they might just do a touch on the side rather than an actual button, because the outdoors watch requires more physical buttons because that's the situations you find yourself in. But a regular watch doesn't actually need a button, so a touchpad on the side might be what they're going to be doing. But you never know until it actually comes out. Increased battery life is obviously going to be a major factor. That always happens with all the upgrades. But being at the 10, this probably is going to be the biggest upgrade for their watches because their watches have been the same since a 6 or a 7 till the 9. Exactly the same stuff. The same with the iPhones. With iPhones, the Series 10 was like a big jump. 11 was a change up on that. And then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 are the same phone. Pretty much. Almost exactly the same phone, very slight differences. And that's exactly what it will be with their watch. But that's how it always is with their products. So the question at the start of this video is it going to be worth upgrading to the Series 10? It's going to be the same watch, looking slightly better with maybe a button on the side. Realistically, it's not going to be heaps different, so there's not really much of a point upgrading if you have one of the newer watches already. Especially if you've got, like I've got the Ultra 2 here, it's probably going to be worse than this watch. So not really worth the upgrade. But for people watching who might be getting the Series 10 as the first watch, then there are other options available. For example, I mentioned this watch. This watch genuinely cost $10. I think it was on sale for $10, down from $25 or $30 or something. $10 for that watch. It looks exactly the same, sort of. It does a lot of features and functions. It does everything you want a smartwatch to do, except be a mini phone. Even though you can sort of take phone calls and stuff, it doesn't come with the cell data, you know, wireless cell data, that sort of stuff. It has to be next to your phone. So if you have your phone with you, then this can become a mini phone. But if you don't want to do that, then only the Apple Watches really have that capability. I don't think there's no cheap watches on the market that do the same thing. If there is, make sure you let me know. I'll check those out. But for $10 and it does all of the features that the Apple Watch does, it's not even about are you going to upgrade to the new Apple Watch. It's about if that's going to be your first watch, are you going to spend $1,000 on that or whatever it costs? I can't remember. It costs like $500 to $1,000, somewhere between there. When you can get the same thing for $10, or as I mentioned in the last video, for $100 to $200, you can get literally the identical thing to this. So it becomes a point where if the Series 10 is going to be the same thing as the Apple Watch Series 6, then there's almost no point even buying it if you haven't already bought them. If you have already bought them, then again, there's no point upgrading. So as cool as this watch is going to look, it's basically not going to be worth it unless there's very different features onto it. If they're going to be adding just a few apps that aren't available in these watches, then obviously it doesn't really make any sense. There's no point. I'm guessing besides having the button on the side, maybe like I said, maybe the touch features, but the main thing they're going to be selling with this watch is a strong focus on an AI functionality that would actually just be an app that isn't available in the other watches. That's what it's going to be. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but that is likely their push to actually try and sell it. But realistically, like I said, it's neither worth upgrading nor buying a new, because there are better options. Well, no, not better, but cheaper options, or options that already exist. That's pretty much how it always is going to be with Apple particularly. Apple is always really slow on the uptake of new technology, even though I still think they have the cleanest sort of designs because they focus on that. So if you're really into the tech side of things, it's probably better to go towards other brands. But if you're into design side of things, then it's better to go with Apple. And everyone already knows that. That's what their target market is. Now, if you want to check out this watch for yourself, you can find it on Amazon somewhere. I can't actually remember what the link is because I was just searching around for a cheap smartwatch that looked the same as that, and I found this. But what I'm going to do is, not this one, but I'll buy another one. We're going to be doing a giveaway because I was looking to do a giveaway, you know, once we reach the 500 subscribe mark, and we're almost there. I think it's only almost nothing to go till we get that. So once we get that, I'll be giving one of these away, or maybe a slightly better one. They've got ones for like upwards of $50. They might be a bit more decent. If that's something you want to win, this smartwatch, it can be sent anywhere in the world realistically. It doesn't really make much of a difference. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, and once we hit that mark, then we'll be announcing how we're going to go ahead with this, and it'll be available to everybody who's subscribed. If that's something that you want, make sure you do that. Otherwise, let me know in the comments if you've seen watches around the $100 to $200 mark, which actually really do have all the functionality of an Apple Watch. Because when it comes to these random tech things, they're hard to find. Like, you don't just, it's not a known brand, it has to be searched around. It's kind of like if you know type thing. If you can find that, then, you know, I'll get that and do a review of that. Otherwise, if there's any more interesting tech you want me to look at, then I'll be doing that. I'm focusing on tech reviews, maybe some Amazon reviews I've been doing recently, but I think I'm much more interested in the tech stuff, so we're probably going to head in that direction for the channel. If you want to see food videos, I've moved those over to a secondary channel I've got because people weren't as interested on this particular channel. We're going more tech stuff this way. So food stuff is happening over there. I recently did a video on, I've done canola oil and Cadbury chocolates and other stuff. I've got a video on Oreos coming up. If that's something you're interested, check that out. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.